Welcome back. It is a sultry summer Saturday here in Lower Alabama, and I am standing in front of the table of pumpkins. This was the table that we set up for my last thumbnail, so you may recognize it, but it looks so cool I decided not to take it down and to just film this next bit. We are getting ready for fall gardens right now, even though it feels nothing like fall. It is hot, 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 but we trust fall is coming. And without further ado, let's run that little bit of weird video that has the fountain on it. Behind me is the remnants of the pumpkin patch. We've been pulling out the pumpkins from the area and pulling the vines out and pulling out all the bindweed and the other stuff and kind of getting that out of there so we don't end up covering the tiller with vines again in a big wrapped mess like we spent a half an hour cleaning out this morning. So we've got to use the tractor today, but the neighbor told me, he says, there's a problem. The tractor's got some vines stuck in the tiller because an area got tilled before it was bush hogged, so it's kind of a mess.
Cleaning vines out of the back of a tractor because you didn't do it right and start with a bush hog. You know what it's like when you just want to get something done, and so you do it wrong because it's faster to do the thing wrong than to do it right. Like with painting, and with tilling, and with weeding. So here we go, cleaning stuff out of the back of a tractor, the back of a tractor, the back of a tractor.
It's right around noon, and it's, I think even the butterflies are flying slowly. They're just like... So anyhow, I discovered a watermelon out there, and I'm planting the patch again just in case they want to come up. Maybe they'll give us a few watermelons before frost, I don't know. We'll see what happens when we till.
Here I'm planting a flat of cabbage for next month that we can put out in our fall garden.
After a long break in the middle of the day, post-tractor tilling, post-killing billions and billions of bacteria, I'm back out in the gardens again, and I had a realization. I was looking at this packet of beans, the Black Coco bean, and I realized this is a bush bean. I planted them under my trellises. I thought that they were a pole bean. It's a bush bean. So immediately when I read that on the package, I think, no, I was wrong? So I looked the variety up. Yeah, it's a bush bean. But anyhow, there's plenty of space for them. They'll be happy here. They're supposed to get 2 foot tall. The trellises can be used for something else at another time. It's not going to hurt them. But I was like going through all the trouble to plant them out here. So I made a mistake. Anyhow, the reason I'm interested in doing these dry beans is because beans are storable calories. If things get difficult, you know, right now it's like you can buy a sack of beans for next to nothing. But if things get difficult and you can't get the protein that you need or want, beans are a good way to get you through. So instead of just living on, you know, potatoes and cassava and stockpile of tortilla chips, you have some beans in the ground. So I'm experimenting, hoping that by planting now, when it's getting later and it gets drier here in the fall and as the winter starts, hoping we'll be able to actually shell some beans out and get some good dry storable beans. And this is supposed to be one of the most delicious varieties ever invented. So, black cocoa. What I've realized also is that, well, maybe I made a mistake by planting them in here under the trellis. I don't need this trellis. But I got 2 rows that I didn't do anything with this last week that are just sitting there empty. And I can put some bush beans into those rows. People are often asking me, how do I water all this space? Well, I have a hose. I know, that's a simple answer. Fact is, we get a ton of rainfall here, particularly during the summer. So in the row gardens in particular, I space things widely. Like you saw how wide I was planting those black cocoa beans. Planting them like this far apart in rows that are 3 feet apart. I did my corn the same way. That way, you might water them in to get them established, to get them to sprout, but you really don't have to do much watering unless we go without rain for a couple of weeks. The wide spacing makes it possible to water less. And those of you who have only grown in a little teeny weeny bed with everything really tight together, like square foot gardening style, have no idea how freeing it is. Our ancestors, with their big wide spacing, there was a reason for that, and it wasn't just so you could bring a plow through or a tractor through or whatever. It was because they were relying on the rain that God sent rather than the rain that the county sent to their pipes. So having that wide spacing means that the soil moisture in the ground is distributed amongst a lot less plant life. So when you have a whole bunch of stuff really tight together, man, you might have to water every day. I was watching one of the John Jeevons videos once, and he's like, with these beds, you may water twice a day. It's like, twice a day? Are you kidding? I don't have time for that. So every once in a while, if we get a couple of weeks, yeah, I will go out here and I'll walk down the grocery rows. When I put in a new tree, when I plant some new things, when stuff is getting established, I'll walk around with a hose and I'll spray it. But I don't really spend a lot of hours. If you had less rainfall, you might want to look into some irrigation, but this is a rental property, so for me it's easier to do wide spacing. I've got more land than I have time to water, and if I were going to water this area, I would probably just put up some standpipes on PVC, hook it up to a well, and tack, send the water flying around. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just spacing wide. And then, of course, in my grocery row gardens, the area is mulched, and we have more perennials in there. I got them really watered in early. Plus, we've had lots of rain through the summer. So for the most part, it's not necessary for me to go through there and water much anymore. But for now, I'm gonna water in these sweet potatoes that we planted. I can't believe how easy it is. You know, you just cut some pieces of vine off and stick them in the ground. I watered them, this is only the second time. I watered them in when I put them in, and most of them are coming up just fine, and they've got leaves and new shoots on them. chop a piece, stick it in the ground. It's like magic. I've been doing some grilling lately. I got this awesome grill from Walmart. My wife got it for me. It cost $20. It's like this little square grill. And sometimes the charcoal briquettes don't get completely used in the bottom. So I was dumping the ashes and the briquettes in the garden. Now this is the first time I've actually decided to just go ahead and do this. Because I remember reading, somewhere when I was a kid and reading gardening books, you're not supposed to put those charcoal briquettes and those charcoal ashes into your garden beds. Because for some reason, you don't know what's in the briquettes. Well, if you don't know what's in the briquettes, why would you cook cheddar cheese brats over them? You know, the type with the fake cheddar inside? Why would you eat those things cooked over, I don't know, old shreds of furniture that's been compressed into briquettes or something? Look, I think if it's safe for you to grill cheddar cheese brats over, then it's safe to put in your garden. So I just went ahead and I threw them in there. I need some more ashes for these beds because we got acid soil. And a little bit of extra char, well, that never hurt anybody. I figure if it's safe enough, maybe it's the same people that make the rules about composting. I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. And until then, I'm just throwing them in here. I think it should be fine. If it's safe enough to cook over, well, it's going in the garden. I'm not going to worry about it. Well, we got a good bit done today. Got a row of beans planted. Got the okra picked. Drank some coffee. And we tilled up that area down there. I also tilled a big patch on the other side that I think I'm going to try maybe some field peas or something in there. Maybe I'll stick out some black-eyed peas for now and then till them under. It's really bad soil, but it's an area that I think I'd like to get under cultivation. So I figure, well, I'll till it up right now and see if I can put something in there. But the tilling is going to kill off the weeds, and then when those have dried out a bit, we can go and put in a little bit of cover crop, and then we'll till that under to add some more organic matter, and then it'll pretty much be ready to go. The grocery row gardens have been doing spectacularly, whether it's raining or whether it's dry. We have pulled in so much okra and so many peppers. The sweet potatoes are going to be coming in, and of course we got all those pumpkins. The pumpkins didn't make it into the grocery row gardens except for the occasional one that escaped through here, so we got a couple. But the grocery row gardens in particular, I am very, very excited about. I like the perennial no-till beds with the clean pads in between. This whole system I've been working on for a while. I have a new booklet on it. If you are interested in learning how the system works, a bunch of people said, why don't you write something on it? Write up a real thing of how you did it and how you would plan it and what you planted in it and all that kind of stuff. So I did it. Grocery row gardening The exciting new permaculture gardening system is now available for pre-order on Amazon, and yes, it will be coming in paperback too. We are working on the paperback, but it takes more time to lay out than to do the ebook version. So the ebook version officially comes out on the 25th of this month, and so if you can pre-order that ahead of time, it will help boost the sales of the book. We can get some reviews on there. It'll start to move. Because if it doesn't start to move right at the beginning, stuff just gets kind of relinquished into, it goes down into like Amazon purgatory. And we don't want that to happen to the book. I mean, I don't want that to happen to the book. So if you can help me by pre-ordering it and getting it up and leaving a review and that kind of thing, having a good pre-order, a good launch makes it just take off. And then Amazon just basically sells it for you. It starts to get recommended when people look up cool gardening systems. Cool gardening system. Grocery Road Gardening by David the Good. Who's that? That must be a cool gardening system because that's what I searched for. So anyhow, you get the idea. Thanks for watching. I hope you got a productive week in on your gardens. I'll catch you next time. And until then, may your thumbs always be green. Do you throw banana peels in the trash? Are your coffee grounds also being thrown in the trash? Do you compost ham? Are you sick and tired of all the rules about composting? Do you wish you could compost in a super easy way? And stop throwing things in a landfill? And stop being a terrible person? Click on the link below and sign up and get my new composting booklet, which shows you how to compost easily and simply with hardly any work at all. It's insane how easy it is because it follows natural principles. Sign up now. Quantities are not limited.